Cameroon has reached a turning point. What began as street protests against the election results has taken a shocking new twist. Reports are emerging that members of the military have been seen marching alongside protesters. For many, it's the first time in decades that uniformed men appear to stand with the people, not the system. Crowds cheer their presence, chanting, "The army is with us." While inside the corridors of power, the mood has changed from confidence to fear. Could this be the moment that shakes the foundation of the Biya regime? Or is this just the calm before something far more dangerous? Stay with me, because what's unfolding right now across Cameroon may define the country's future for generations to come. From the first light of morning, Cameroon's streets became a wave of restless energy. Thousands poured out, but this wave of anger didn't appear out of nowhere. Just hours earlier, opposition leader Issa Tchiroma had released a fiery statement rejecting the official election results.
Make me the legal and legitimate president of the Republic.
In a message that spread quickly across radio stations and social media, he urged Cameroonians to defend their votes and stand for truth.
The people are determined to fight against a regime that is deaf to their suffering and difficulties, faced with turmoil of an uncertain future.
Within minutes, his words turned into movement. Neighborhood youths printed banners with his slogans, community leaders joined the call, and the marches gained force faster than anyone expected. Young men and women, students, traders, taxi drivers, each shouting a single word that echoed through Yaoundé, Douala, Bafoussam, Garoua, and beyond. Enough of electoral fraud. At first, the marches were loud but peaceful, drums, whistles, and songs of hope. But tension built quickly. Police patrols moved in, trying to push crowds back. Tear gas canisters hissed through the air, accompanied by anti-riot water cannon. Live bullets cracked, and chaos followed. Several demonstrators fell as panic spread. By nightfall, at least 6 people had lost their lives, according to witnesses and local reports. The following day, anger mixed with grief. Some protesters turned their fury on the symbols of power. Party offices, vehicles, even roadside shops accused of supporting the ruling camp. Sporadic looting broke out, captured in the shaky phone footage you're about to see. Windows smashed, goods scattered, sirens screaming in the background. Yet amid the destruction were faces of courage. Young volunteers formed human chains to protect elderly passers-by and small businesses, shouting, "No violence, no theft. This fight is for justice." The contrast was striking, a nation divided not only by politics, but by the struggle between anger and discipline. By afternoon, major intersections were clogged with burning tires and chants of defiance. Protesters waved the flag high, vowing to continue until their voices were heard. Government media called the demonstrations unlawful. Opposition figures called them the heartbeat of a generation. And just as the standoff seemed ready to spiral into something darker, something completely unexpected began to unfold on the edges of the crowd, an image no one was prepared for. Then, in the middle of the noise and smoke, the rhythm of the street changed. A column of soldiers appeared, their uniforms dark against the haze. For a moment, the crowd froze. Everyone expected what always came next, the warning shots, the tear gas, the chase. But none of that happened. Instead, the soldiers slowed their pace. One waved for calm, another helped a fallen protester back to his feet. In the clips that spread online that afternoon, you can clearly see it. The military standing side by side with civilians, not pushing them back, but holding the line peacefully. Whispers rippled through the crowd. They're not attacking, they're protecting. People began clapping, chanting the soldiers' names, holding flags toward them instead of stones. It was a moment so rare that even the journalists on the ground hesitated. Stay with us as we analyze what this could mean, not just for Cameroon, but for the entire Central African region. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more verified and analytical updates like this one. For the first time in days, the city exhaled. The noise dropped to a low hum, broken only by the sound of boots on pavement and the tremble of distant sirens. What viewers around the world saw on their screens that night didn't look like surrender or victory. It looked like a pause in history, the few seconds when a nation seemed to rethink its own script. But no one knew what it meant. Was it sympathy from tired soldiers? An unspoken warning to their superiors? Or simply discipline under pressure? Whatever it was, the cameras caught it, and the image has refused. If even the soldiers are calm, what comes next? By evening, Cameroon had entered a new kind of storm, not on the streets, but on every screen. Clips of soldiers standing peacefully beside protesters raced across WhatsApp groups and Twitter timelines. In minutes, the footage went viral. Some called it the dawn of a new chapter, others cried deception. One comment read, "When the army stands still, the nation is thinking." Another warned, "Don't be fooled, silence can be strategy." In university dorms and taxi parks, people replayed the same few seconds again and again. To some, it was a miracle, proof that the army was tired of bloodshed. To others, it was a trap, a calm before the crackdown. Local radio stations lit up with callers arguing deep into the night. "These are our brothers," one caller said. "They know our pain." Another shouted, "Where were they when 6 of our youths were shot?" Even within Biya's ruling circles, unease was visible. Insiders whispered that senior officers had held late-night meetings, seeking explanations for why certain units had shown restraint instead of force. Government spokespeople urged the population to stay calm and avoid misinterpreting the army's professionalism. But outside the gates of power, Cameroonians were already interpreting it their own way. Artists turned the images into sketches. Poets called the moment "the day the uniform blinked," and opposition voices online used it as a rallying cry, saying, "If the army can stand with us once, they can do it again." Through it all, uncertainty hung heavy. No one knew whether this gesture was an accident, an order, or a message. Was it the beginning of something new, or the last calm breath before the state reasserted control? One thing was certain, the people had seen something they couldn't unsee. And now every protest, every patrol would be watched through that same lens of hope and suspicion. While Cameroonians argued online, silence wrapped itself around the presidency. Inside the marble corridors of Etude, reports from across the country arrived every hour, each one describing the same unbelievable sight: soldiers standing beside protesters, not against them. Senior officials were unsettled. For a regime that had ruled through command and control for more than 4 decades, this single act of restraint felt like a crack in the wall. Meetings stretched late into the night. Advisors spoke in careful tones, trying to decide whether to praise the army's discipline or question its hesitation. Behind closed doors, one concern echoed through every conversation. What if the people start believing the military is on their side? Because power in Cameroon has never only been about votes. It has always depended on loyalty, the loyalty of institutions, and above all, the loyalty of the uniform. And that loyalty tonight suddenly looked uncertain. State television broadcast old speeches about stability and peace, trying to shift attention. But the images already circulating online told a different story. Smiling soldiers, clapping civilians, moments of calm in the middle of chaos. Those images carried more weight than any official statement. In political circles, whispers grew louder. Could this be the first public sign of fatigue within the regime's foundations? Or was it, as others claimed, a calculated gesture, an attempt to cool tempers before the next wave of enforcement? Whatever the answer, one thing was clear: Cameroon had changed its tone. The government still spoke of order, the opposition still cried for justice, but the people, ordinary citizens, were beginning to sense that something subtle, perhaps irreversible, had shifted in the balance between fear and courage. And if history has taught anything, it's that nations rarely return unchanged from moments like these. As dawn breaks over Cameroon, the chants have faded, but the questions remain. Was this the beginning of a new understanding between the people and their army, or just a pause before the old rhythm of fear returns? No one can say for sure. What we can say is that something changed out there on the streets, something the cameras caught and the country cannot unsee. For a few hours, power and protest stood face to face, not as enemies, but as reflections of the same nation. In the coming days, the government will issue its statements, the opposition will answer, and analysts will argue. But the real story lives in the hearts of Cameroonians watching these images, wondering whether this calm marks an ending or a beginning. If you missed how this tension first exploded after the election results, watch our previous report in the link below in description. It shows the chain of events that led to this moment on the streets. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss our next update as reactions continue to unfold across the nation.